In Assassin's Creed 4, cows can walk in front of the camera while you're in the middle of a board game, making it unplayable.
Whoa! Just like in real life.
There's only one guy who works in our department, so we changed the bathroom sign.
Ben's restroom.
Me, as my laptop fan suddenly becomes louder. What is it? What program? Who is doing this to you?
Who do I need to kill?
A series of events. 1. I put in an annual leave request form almost 3 weeks ago and my boss has not approved it yet. 2. I went into my office today and replaced every single writing utensil with crayons in preparation for April Fool's Day on Monday. 3. Whilst searching for pens to remove, I found my unsigned annual leave form in my boss's drawer. 4. I placed my unsigned annual leave form in a photo frame and put it on his desk. 5. The frame I used was from a photo of his kids that I deemed less important than my leave form. 6. My boss sometimes goes into the office on Saturdays to work. 7.
Going to sign your f***ing leave form in crayon. Where are my children?
I still don't understand the phrase, luck of the Irish, because the luck of the Irish is, historically speaking, f***ing terrible.
My brother decided to teach his 2.5-year-old that mommy and daddy have names, and there is nothing funnier than seeing a cranky toddler turn to his mom and say,
"Leave me alone, Meredith!"
He is turning the tiles brown.
He needs to be contained.
SCP. Fools. This was a white goat, you can see the white markings on him. He's been soaking up the brown and he's only got one square left. Let him finish his work. He's stealing the brown.
My dad has a doppelganger named Eric. For years people have been coming up to him, thinking he was Eric. Sometimes people get a whole conversation going while my dad stands there politely wondering why this stranger is talking to him before they stop, wide-eyed, and realize, you're not Eric. None of us have ever seen Eric, but we know he's out there. Sometimes a couple years will go by without an Eric incident and we worry. But then my dad will come home like, "Good news guys, Eric's still alive, I met his cousin today."
Do you ever start bullshitting a paper, and then look over it halfway through and think, wait a minute, I could be onto something here?
This is the definition of college.
Literally, I was writing a paper on Asian saltwater crocodiles, like a simple about-'em paper for a college class, and I started noticing some inconsistencies in the scientific papers I was sourcing, and I accidentally discovered that the crocodile has been misdiagnosed as least concerned on the endangered species list when they should be classified as endangered. And now my professor is having me write a formal report to the International Red List to have them reclassified. All I wanted to do was write this paper on an animal I thought was cool, and now I'm considered an expert on this species.
5 is like an honorary even number.
Why does this make sense?
You are what you eat, said the blue fairy, unwisely. Pinocchio turned sly eyes upon the elementary school.
OP, do you take constructive criticism?
Sure. Name one way I could have improved my 2-sentence horror fanfic.
My roommate, waking up at 5:30. Me, going to bed at 5:30.
I love how this could be AM or PM and it would still make sense.
A good romance starts with a good friendship. A good romance starts with a good friendship. Continued.
A bad romance starts with ra 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 ra. Roma, Roma ma gaga, ooh la la.
Plants are just like too much sun, not enough sun, ground too wet, ground too dry, the pH balance is wrong, there's not enough drainage, I don't like terracotta, feed me, stop feeding me, God was killed here, I do not vibe with this soil.
Then plants in nature be like, ooh, is that a crack in the concrete?
Victorian female medical students.
Looks like one of them had a really tough semester.
I hate how reward systems never work for me. Like, I can't just say, if I finish this assignment I can have a cookie, because my brain is like, or you could just have one right now, and I can't argue with that logic.
Self-imposed deadlines don't work either because I know the guy who set them and he's full of
I have so many thin friends who eat and don't exercise ever and are probably rotting inside. But no one says about their health, so let's stop pretending it's fat people's health you're bothered about, you transparent motherfuckers.
When I was a heroin addict, I lost a significant amount of weight. One day I took my sweatshirt off around a friend whom I never really liked that much and she just gasped. You lost so much weight. I'm so jealous, your tummy is so flat. You look so healthy. I you not, she said I looked healthy. I was addicted to heroin.
Today my GF said. When Donkey asks Shrek what his name is, Shrek pauses before he says Shrek, and I'm convinced he came up with it on the spot. We weren't even talking about Shrek. I can't stop thinking about it or about how lucky I am to be with her.
Man. The creators of Superman really named a small town Smallville and a big city Metropolis, didn't they?
I mean, they made a superhero named Superman, so what do you expect?
Extremely fair point. A man sued his employer for racial discrimination, settled the suit, took the settlement check to the bank to cash it, then the bank didn't believe the check was real and called the cops on him, leading to another racial discrimination lawsuit.
Is this a Key and Peele sketch? This country is unreal.
Infinite money glitch.
I'll be like 40 with no kids and people will say, "Aw, I'm so sorry for you," and I'll be like, how was the f***ing Wiggles reunion tour asshole? I went to Italy last week for fun and didn't have to hire a sitter.
This is a very sad mentality. To think oneself more important than that of progeny is the sign of a failed human life.
So the Wiggles concert wasn't as good as you thought it would be, huh?
I fused Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel Dwayne Johnsel together and he looks surprisingly more innocent than his two contributors.
I trust him.
I really enjoy just existing in hotels. The long identical hallways, the soulless abstract art, the weird noises the air conditioner makes, strange city lights in the window, 6 stories off the ground, strangers chatting in the hall, nothing in the dresser, no past, but an infinite present.
Finally, someone understands.
Just had the best encounter with a child at Kmart. I was in the aisle shopping, and this girl and her dad come around the corner. The girl sees me and excitedly exclaims, "There's a human here," to which the father replied, "Yes, there's humans everywhere."
Bro, do you realize you met aliens?
Not unusual for a Kmart.
Movie idea: guy finds a stone tablet engraved with a mysterious alien language and gets caught up in a National Treasure-esque adventure to decipher its meaning, only to learn that it's just an alien, live, laugh, love, decoration.
Today I learned that millennial dads are spending 3 times as much time with their kids than their fathers spent with them. Back in 1982, 43% of fathers admitted they'd never changed a diaper. Today, that number is down to about 3%.
Millennials are killing the deadbeat dad industry.
I just got woken up from a nightmare by the train going by shaking my bed to find that Duolingo randomly sent me the first notification in over a year. Please understand my state of mind right now.
What does
die
mean? Practice now.
I literally don't talk to anyone unless they talk to me first.
NPC energy.
Recently I was in a public place, chatting quietly with my friends, and this unattended child came out of nowhere and asked me to clarify one of the things I'd said. So I explained myself to this kid, and as soon as he got an answer, he turned around without saying anything and continued on his way. It really felt like he'd just walked up to me and pressed A.
If you haven't cried in a math class, you're not allowed to follow me. Mathematical illiterates on this blog only.
You don't need to be mathematically illiterate to cry in math class. You just keep taking higher and higher math until you cry.
Non-maths people. Maths people. Crying because of maths.
Today I learned King James IV put twin babies on an island to see if the children would speak the language of Eden. Children developed a communication method, but the experiment failed because no one else knew what language of Eden sounded like.
The Middle Ages. Everyone.
English kings really did have all to do, didn't they?
I love working at Joanne Fabrics. Today a guy asked me to show him the fake fur, and when I did he goes, "No, this won't do," and part of my job is giving advice for projects, so I asked him what he was using it for, and he looks down at the floor and quietly says, "I want to make a Yeti costume to scare people with when we go skiing."
Scooby-Doo villain.
My local rock station.
You're listening to Rock. Rock. We're hard as all the other stations are wimpy little snowflakes for not playing rock like we do. Hard rock, rock and metal and rock. Up next is 21 Pilots followed by Imagine Dragons.